Ladies and gentlemen, half to two-thirds of Republican voters would leave the GOP if Trump started a new organization or a new political entity or party. A shocking number of Republicans would join Donald Trump in third-party poll. The Suffolk University USA Today survey also highlights Trump voters' remarkable denial. Okay, here we go. So, this is Huffington Post. A new poll revealed that Republican voter loyalty to former President Donald Trump remains high. If Trump were to form his own political party, as he reportedly considered, a plurality of his GOP backers would follow him by a margin of 46%. 46%. And if you look, it's not just, that's just one poll. There was actually nearly two-thirds of Republicans, February 4th, 2021, Washington Examiner, nearly two-thirds of Republicans say they would likely leave party if Trump starts new one. 64% of Republicans would be inclined towards joining a Trump-formed party. So this is among a Republican. This is a Republican survey. The other one, the 46%, was a university poll. And President Trump holds the keys. He holds the keys to the future for the GOP. There's no doubt. There's no doubt he runs the Republican Party. He was a successful president in terms of accomplishments. The one thing that President Trump did that was a misstep was allow Democrats and media to fabricate this vision, this image of him. So they created a monster. And he allowed them to do so with tweets. His tweets overshadowed his tremendous accomplishments. Abraham Accords, first president to step foot in North Korea, to begin détente between North and South Korea. President Moon Jae-in stated that Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. He had record low unemployment throughout most of his tenure. That's a fact. Record low Black and Latino unemployment. Signed the First Step Act, allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever, signed an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses to ensure that the absurd revisionist history that AOC tried to perpetuate isn't perpetuated on college campuses. So I wrote about that in the Jerusalem Post. Read my Jerusalem Post article. Go to hagoodman.com. It's about AOC. You can hit subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends about this channel. We're back on our way to 200,000 subscribers. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. To my new Patreons, I just want to thank you so very, very, very much. Your support, especially during this time period, is just so important to helping me just remain completely independent. You have nearly two-thirds of Republicans in a Republican survey. You have about half of Republicans in a university survey. And then you have Politico. Anti-Trumpers are done with the GOP. Where do they go now? Well, they go to the Democratic Party. Or they pretend... Okay, Adam Kinzinger voted alongside President Trump over 90% of the time. This is extremely important. If you can go to 538 has a vote tracker, and it's voting in the age of Trump, something like that. It's like this score that they give, and you can look. And in the score, he gets 90.2%. 90.2%. So, let's just look really quickly. Okay, so Adam Kinzinger, 538, Trump vote score. All right, so, tracking Congress in the age of Trump. You have Adam Kinzinger, Republican representative for Illinois 16th District. This is supposed to be the never-Trumper. This is the reason why people will just follow Trump into another political party if he leaves. This is the reason why they can impeach Trump and he'll be acquitted 1,000,000 times over. Adam Kinzinger has stated that he, don't follow Trump, and he's like the new Lincoln Project, and we've seen the Lincoln Project is completely and utterly disgraced. Okay? Completely and utterly disgraced. But it says Trump score. How often Kinzinger votes in line with Trump's position? 90.2%. 90.2%. And what more do you need? And Adam Kinzinger voted against restricting President Trump from unilateral military action in a couple of resolutions. So, it's all image. That's my point. Why do you think I'm spending like 7 minutes on the same point? It's all image and public relations and marketing and spin and propaganda. Adam Kinzinger is able to communicate. Unfortunately, the Lincoln Project, they were able to communicate as despicable as they were. They were able to market themselves and communicate in a better way than President Trump. And I'll explain why. You might say, what are you talking about, H.A.? You've lost it. Adam Kinzinger votes alongside Trump over 90% of the time. Yet he wants to portray this image that he's the anti-Trump. He's not. He just is. All he's trying to do is say, look, I don't have a problem with his policies, his ideology, his what he wants for the future of this country. President Trump presided over tremendous foreign policy achievements. Tremendous foreign policy achievements. He was able to do so because he didn't engage in politics, the usual form of politics in D.C. or diplomacy. You do not have the beginning of détente between North and South Korea. You do not have the first president to step foot in North Korea without President Trump. Clinton wouldn't have done it. President Obama and Bush didn't do it. And Biden wouldn't have done that. The Abraham Accords were huge in terms of a foreign policy accomplishment. And you don't get that with another president. Economic deals between Serbia and Kosovo, you don't get. Renegotiating NAFTA into the USMCA, a focus on tariffs instead of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The tariffs were working before the pandemic. You don't get that with another president. So Adam Kinzinger had no problem with that. Yet he is able to utilize media and he's able to, it's easier for him. So maybe I'm being a little bit hard on President Trump. But it's easier to be a never Trumper. You get the love from the media, you get social media, support. You're retweeted 1 million times. But the reality is that he voted alongside President Trump. So most Republican voters, or most voters who voted for Trump, say, well, why should I follow somebody who... Why should we allow a Republican Party that basically votes alongside President Trump, takes advantage of every good thing that he's accomplished, and then abandons him in a time of need or tries to disparage him because of his personality? Now, President Trump needs to pull back on his personality. He has a great, tough, it's good, it's a catharsis sometimes when he's going up against the system, he doesn't care. But towards the end of his tenure, President Trump, he did things that he shouldn't have said certain things or done certain things. He should have created a national dialogue, discourse, debate, discussion. He should have tried to reach across the aisle. I know that was virtually impossible with Democrats trying. I'm not talking about with Democratic politicians. I'm talking about with voters. He could have tried his best to show to show the world, hey, I'm a human being. And I know that Democrats and media every single time they interviewed him, painted him as this ogre and this monster and this person who was belligerent, who didn't want to answer questions. And they went after him more so than they ever did with President Obama and Biden, and definitely with Bush. But I remember there was there was this Fox News interview with President Obama that wasn't nearly. It was with, what's his name? It was with it was I forgot who it was with. It was with a Fox News host where it wasn't nearly as belligerent, but media was like, oh, an uproar. Oh my God, how could you treat a president this way? The way media treated Trump, it's unprecedented. All they did was try to disparage him every single day, to his face too. I mean, especially insulting him. Are you going to apologize for all the lies you told? They didn't ask that of President Obama. You can go through the list of lies. Everything he said prior to the Libya intervention, regime change that caused a decade of civil conflict and strife and suffering and war. Servers that he knew about, which even Clinton's own campaign stated, oh yeah, he knows the president knows. Bill O'Reilly. That was the Bill O'Reilly interview. But drinking Flint water when he knew it wasn't safe to drink, even with a filter. Okay? But see, what I'm trying to tell you is I'm very passionate about this. I don't know if people I don't know if a lot of people, it resonates with a lot of people, but it's the truth. He gave them what they wanted. He pulled back. He didn't want to. He could have gone on Joe Rogan, for example, or Tim Pool. Why not? He was on Twitter. He could have gone on the top YouTube channels. He could have gone on. He could have done more Fox News. He should have done a Fox News interview every week. He should have. What he should have done, I'm telling you. I know that people say, "Oh, you're nuts." He should have gone on CNN, had a one-on-one conversation with Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon, and of course, and MSNBC. And you say, "Well, Trump, what are you talking about? All they would want to do is tear him apart." You coach. You have an advisor there with him, or he prepares for it. And it's it's something that's really important to where he says, okay, I'm going to utilize this as a national debate, as a campaign debate. Where you go, I mean, how difficult would it be? You know what they're going to ask, you know how they're going to ask it. That the people advising him before the Axios interview with Jonathan Swan, Jonathan Swan ignored the fact that the highest per capita rates are New York, New Jersey, Democratic-run states, and God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. But they're run by Cuomo, who's now being investigated, and Phil Murphy, who they have the highest unemployment rates, the highest. He could have simply said, "Look, I don't want to disparage any of the state governments there, but this is not the federal government's doing." Democratic-run states have the highest aggregate number of lives lost and the highest per capita rates, but we're doing well in terms of the statistics that Trump talked about. That would have completely ended whatever Jonathan Swan was trying to, because what Swan was doing is saying, well, the country in aggregate has a higher per capita rate than most other countries. Trump could have simply said, yeah, but most other countries don't have Phil Murphy and Andrew Cuomo. He could have said that. He said worse. So I mean, but there needed to be more. And if they got him on the gotcha questions, at least he could say, "Look, I'm trying to reach out." When they said he said both sides, he should have explained here's the quote I actually said, and I'm not talking about the 1930s and 1940s Germans. It's right there in the C-SPAN quote. No, I'm not talking about it. Are you talking about it? No, I'm not talking about it. You're trying to prop them up. It's like, we know what they were trying to do. We know what media was trying to do. But see, what happened was Trump said, I had enough of this. I'm not dealing with these people. And he let them run the narrative. Again, this obviously didn't prevent him from taking control of the Republican Party, but the last 6 months of his presidency was a debacle, an absolute catastrophe, political catastrophe. Trump rebounded like he does. He rebounded because there's a genuine element to Trump that most other politicians don't have. Democrats don't see it that way. They think like goodness within a politician and honesty is a politician lying through his teeth but doing it in a diplomatic manner. Trump doesn't do that. He engages in hyperbole, and Democrats say, you're lying. But they don't say that President Obama is lying when he drinks Flint water. They just say, oh, well, you know. They focus on the indiscretions of Trump like it's the end of the world, and they sweep the sins and all the faults of and all the criminal activity of Democrats under the rug. And there's two standards of, judgment. Moral judgment. These people fancy themselves as the morally superior side, yet they wrote the crime bill and they pushed for invasions of countries and regime changes that caused endless sorrow. These are the moral people, the moral liberals. Same with the Republicans. Same with the Never Trump Republicans, the despicable people in the Lincoln Project. What I'm trying to say, if you've lasted this long, and by the way, 16 minutes in, I will have a live stream tonight at around, I would say probably 8 p.m. Be here for the live stream at 8 p.m. The live streams are fun. Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump should use the next 4 years to convey to the world that he's a human being. He's not just this monster that lives to enrage Democrats. That's you might say, oh, that's good. I love that. Yeah, but you're going to vote for President Trump even if he was a lot more diplomatic. The thing is, now President Trump needs to kind of craft an image where he's not as in your face, like sledgehammer, bulldozer, Mack truck, runaway train persona. And that alone would allow him to highlight, to champion all the accomplishments that he's presided over. And when in 2024, he could then say, look, he spends 4 years proving to all the to independent voters that perhaps he lost. He spends 4 years saying, I'm a human being. These people were unfair, but I'm a human being. I made some missteps. And, doesn't necessarily always, go after and attack people or counterpunch. If he just kind of just shows that he's a bit vulnerable, oh my God. It's like he'll get even more people from the Republican Party to say, hey, you know what? I don't even care about the GOP. Give me your thoughts below. Be here tonight at 8 p.m. I'll have a live stream at 8 p.m. Be here tonight at 8 p.m. Tell your friends, tell your family, anyone who would enjoy my live stream at 8 p.m. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much. I'll see you